Good morning to the people living in Canada, and good evening, of course, to the people in India. I decided not to talk and provide live comments during my sabbatical. But when something happens that has repercussions all over, then one cannot remain quiet. Every country has certain obligations to the citizens, as the citizens have an obligation and duty towards the country. It's the responsibility of the citizens to ensure the safety of the country, and it's a responsibility of the country to ensure the safety of its citizens. Unfortunately, when the action taken is such which is prejudicial to the safety and the well-being of the citizens, it makes one feel disappointed, disgusted, devastated, frustrated, and at times angry. And I am angry today. I am angry because the government which provided succor to the millions of refugees, provided them the five-star facilities, provided them free transportation. The government which provided special aircraft to fly the terrorist, condemned, confessed terrorist Omar Khadr to US, from USA to Canada. The same government today has shown its capability and willingness to evacuate stranded Canadians from India. Unfortunately, the price tag is astounding. When a shopkeeper charges a higher price for the products during the times of scarcity or during the times of crisis, it's called price gouging, betrayal of the society. What would you call that government which charges more than double the return fare for a one-way journey? I was shocked when I read the email from the Global Affairs to the registered Canadians in India, telling them that the government is planning to evacuate them and has arranged four flights from Delhi, two from Mumbai to Montreal, Vancouver, and Toronto. And at the end of the flight, they are supposed to be quarantined for 14 days at their expense, not at the government expense. Of course, refugees were given five-star treatment, as I said earlier. And the price for this one-way traffic, one-way journey is $2,900. $2,900. While in the off season, the normal return fare is between $850 to $1,100, and in season it's about $1,200 to $1,300. So it's more than double the return fare of the in season. Not only that, it has also been reported the aircraft would be specially amended to ensure that there are only economy class seats and no business class seats. I'm not sure, but that's the report. And it has been mentioned in the email that the food would have to be carried by the passengers themselves. No food would be provided during the journey, neither during the journey nor during the halt in London. So for a third rate service, they want to charge first class prices. Is this not price gouging? Is this not the betrayal of the trust of the citizens who hoped and had expected the government to come to their succor for their help? Why is it, simply why is it that the governments have failed to provide the normal courtesy which has been provided even to the terrorists? As a matter of fact, If the government was really concerned about these Canadians, then they would have offered them free air travel because those passengers are losing the money. They have booked the return flights, they would not be getting the money. And here's the government which says, no, you must pay for the misfortune of having been a Canadian who visited Delhi or Mumbai or any part of India during a God sent, or shall I say, devil sent opportunity, God sent for the government, which makes money, devil sent for the people who are going to suffer. And when I compare it with what the government of India has done, sent special chartered aircraft to rescue students from China, and not only the Indian students, but also the Pakistani students. Send aircraft to rescue them from Iran, from Italy, from Spain, from Germany, from England. And I was really amazed today morning when I read the news that despite the shortage of the medicines, medical supplies, the government of India, in a sense of magnanimity, has sent medical supplies to Bulgaria because their need is more than our need. I, as a Canadian, feel that the Trudeau government should have risen and ensure the safety of the citizens. Instead of trying to make money while posing to be good Samaritan, Trudeau government has proved beyond any shadow of doubt that it is more concerned with earning money to sustain not the economy, not the quality of life of the Canadians, but to sustain the ill spending by the ministers, the violation of the ethical standards and the morality by the ministers, the holidays by the Prime Minister and his family at Aga Khan Island, and hospitality of the third parties who are lobbyists, like Aga Khan himself. Would Trudeau government have done the same if this was to be the fate of the Syrians? Or did they do the same at that time? No. I remember when there was an earthquake in Haiti during Harper's time, the Prime Minister had very clearly stated that all Canadians in Haiti would be rescued, and the special aircraft had gone from Canada to bring them back, and they were not charged a dime. That is a sort of a thing we expect from a government which means welfare of the people. But here, what's happening in the liberal government is, and it's unfortunate that the terrorists are lionized, that the fifth columnist in the camouflage of refugees, some of them, not all of them, but some of them, are given VIP treatment. Millions can be spent on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, but ordinary Canadians who happen to visit other countries have been made to pay the piper. The whole thing smacks of dishonesty, chicanery, and in fact is a declaration of saying that all Canadians are not the same. Every Canadian is not a Canadian. Some Canadians are more Canadian than others are. I'm always an advocate that the citizens must perform their duties before they ask for their rights. But then, at the time of emergency, at the time when their lives are in danger, is it not the requirement and is it not expected from the government that they shall ensure the safety of the life and limb and the property of the people? I fully appreciate what the government has done in saying that, okay, we will give $5,000 to each individual who is abroad as a loan, interest free. That's creditable. When Trudeau government has done something commendable, I'll be the first to commend it. But when it takes an action which is absolutely antithetical to the traditions of Canada and to the professions of the Liberal Party, I have no hesitation in saying, Mr. Prime Minister, you are failing. You are failing to perform as the First Minister, as the Prime Minister appears, and are not being honest to the unfortunate Canadians who are stuck up in the foreign lands for no fault of theirs. I'm not blaming the government for creating this responsibility. No, it is an accident of nature. As a matter of fact, it also shows the short sight of the government. It was known in January and February that this is going to be pandemic. Wasn't it the responsibility of the government at that time to issue a travel advisory telling people not to travel at all? They failed to do so. The first advisory was issued by in the first week of March, and the people who had come before that are being made to pay for no fault of theirs. Then another thing about the quarantine. Self quarantine should be at the expense of the person who travels, and that's justified. But when you quarantine them and ask them to foot the bill, that of course is not something which is done, which is acceptable. And it must not be there. And yet, the Prime Minister and the Foreign Affairs Minister, Mr. Champagne, they are quiet about it. Why is it that for a niggardly sum, when billions are being spent, the government is behaving in this stingy manner? As a matter of fact, it's mean spirit that's being exhibited by the Liberal government. I'm sure, and I know it from personal experience, that the Canadians as such are extremely broad-minded and liberal. If they are aware of this, there would be protest galore. This is only known to a few thousand people who have received the emails from the Global Affairs saying that they have to pay $2,900 for one way ticket, where the return fare is approximately $1,000. It's not a question of $3,000. It's a question of the morality of the government and the failure of the government to abide by the covenant that the citizens make with the government. The covenant is I pay my taxes and I assure the government that I shall fight for the country. If it goes for war, I shall observe the laws and carry out all the directions of the government for the good of the people and good of Canada. And the government in return ensures that the citizens shall be protected within and without the country. As a Canadian, it's my birthright to ensure and seek a surety from the government that wherever I might be, they shall come to my aid and assistance without any extra expenditure to be incurred by power. And that expenditure can be emotional, financial, or of any other nature, but it must not be there. The whole thing smacks of bad planning, I can tell you I'm angry, but I'm aware that the details of the facts might not be known to the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister, or the other leaders. Some petty bureaucrat sitting in Ottawa must have come up with this stupid idea, and nobody bothered to cross check the veracity or the applicability and the justification of that idea, and the action was taken. Friends, every government deserves the loyalty and the sincerity of the citizens, and every citizen deserves protection of his property, of his life and limb. And any government which fails to do that is failing to be responsible. The government has to be held accountable for its acts of omission and commission, and there can be no compromise of the essential factor of the safety of the citizens without financial implication and negative, those financial implications which are negative as far as the citizens are concerned. Would Mr. Prime Minister wake up and take necessary action? Would the Canadians tell the government that this sort of stepmotherly treatment is not acceptable? And better we do it today. Tomorrow it might escalate and other Canadians might suffer as well. Thank you.